Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast, and welcome to your AEW Dynamite post-show. Starting off tonight, man, we have a Blue League Continental Classic tournament matchup where it is Takeshita taking on Orange Cassidy. The match itself, man, was a good match. Back and forth matchup between Takeshita and Cassidy, with Orange Cassidy keeping the pace of the match. Cassidy then hits a slingshot DDT on Takeshita in the middle of the ring, followed by Orange hitting a Hurricane Rana on Takeshita. Takeshita then tries to get some offense in by hitting a Blue Thunder Bomb on Orange Cassidy in the middle of the ring. But Orange Cassidy gets up, hits an Orange Punch on Takeshita for a near fall. Orange Cassidy then is on the outside, standing on the apron with Takeshita. Orange Cassidy then hits a Beach Break on Takeshita off the apron. Orange then follows it up by another Orange Punch on Takeshita. But Takeshita gets up, hits a Raging Fire on Orange Cassidy in the middle of the ring. Pins for the 3. And your winner of the match, and the winner of 10 points now in the Blue League Continental Classic Tournament, is Takeshita. Hats off to Takeshita for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have another Continental Classic Tournament matchup in the Blue League. It is Mascara Dorada taking on Roderick Strong. Now, the match itself was a decent match. Back and forth matchup between Dorada and Strong, with Strong keeping the pace of the match. But Dorada then goes to the top rope, hits a Shooting Star Press off the top rope, landing on Strong in the middle of the ring, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match, and the winner of 6 points in the Blue League in the Continental Classic Tournament, is Mascara Dorada. Hats off to Dorada for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have MJF finally making his return in ring, if you will, for AEW Dynamite. It's MJF pretty much taking on a jobber. This was pretty much a glorified squash match, with MJF keeping the pace of the match. MJF then quickly hits a DDT in the middle of the ring, followed by MJF applying a Salt of the Earth. And your winner of the match is MJF. MJF then goes to grab a microphone. He goes to say something, but he's quickly interrupted by Adam Page. Adam Page music hits. He's standing in the crowd. After that, Swerve's music hits. He is also standing in the crowd as well. Page then grabs a microphone. He mocks MJF. Page says that tonight MJF is going to get his ass kicked. The Ops and the Dojo members, or the Ops Dojo members, are here as well, but Page then attacks the members of the Dojo. Joe then sends a message to Page, Swerve, and MJF. Swerve then hits a house call on MJF in the middle of the ring. Swerve then grabs a microphone and says MJF is going to be Swerve's scumbag. Swerve then mentions the Pinnacle. He also mentions the likes of Wardlow, Jay White, and Adam Cole. Swerve says that no matter who he competes against, he makes them great. Some interesting stuff there from Swerve Strickland and MJF. Moving on from that, we have the Dynamite Diamond Ring match, where it is Ricochet versus Bandito for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. The match itself, I thought, was a good match. Back and forth matchup between Bandito and Ricochet, with Bandito keeping the pace of the match. Bandito then hits a press slam, sending Ricochet to the outside. But Ricochet then tries to get some offense in by hitting a Vertigo on Bandito for a near fall. Bandito then gets up, hits a Poison Rana, followed by a Liger Bomb for a near fall. Gates of Agony, who were ringside, they end up causing a distraction in this match with the referee. Ricochet then capitalizes on the distraction by hitting a low blow on Bandito, but Bandito somehow hits a roll-up on Ricochet, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match, and the winner of the Dynamite Diamond Ring, is Bandito. And Bandito now has an automatic title shot against the winner of the World's End title match. Some interesting stuff there from Bandito. Moving on from that, we have Darby Allin being interviewed backstage. The reporter, who I forgot her name, also mentions Gabe Kidd. Gabe Kidd made announcements that he's pretty much challenging Darby Allin for World's End. Darby then is announced that he is medically cleared. He also is asked about the challenge from Gabe Kidd. Darby Allin then says that he is looking past Gabe Kidd, but Gabe Kidd comes out of nowhere, attacks Darby Allin. They fight backstage. Gabe Kidd then climbs the rails, or not the rails, but the stairs. He goes up the stairs with Darby Allin, starts beating the hell out of Darby Allin, and all of a sudden Darby Allin is pretty much at the top of the stairs. Gabe Kidd then kicks Darby down the stairs, pretty much sending a message to Darby Allin. So it looks like it will be Gabe Kidd versus Darby Allin at this year's World's End. Moving on from that, we have Mina Shirakawa taking on Marina Shafir. I thought it was a decent match, back and forth matchup between Shirakawa and Shafir, with Mina Shirakawa keeping the pace of the match. But Marina applies a submission hold on Mina in the middle of the ring. Referee sounds for the bell. and your winner of the match is Marina Shafir. Hats off to Marina Shafir for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we go into our main event of AEW Dynamite. It is a Gold League Continental Classic Tournament matchup. It is Jack Perry taking on Pac. I thought it was a decent match, man. It was a back-and-forth matchup between Perry and Pac, with Perry keeping the pace of the match. Perry and Pac both exchanged in the middle of the ring, with Perry hitting a Poison Rana on Pac in the middle of the ring. Perry follows that up by hitting a running knee on Pac in the middle of the ring, but Pac then applies a brain brutalizer on Perry, but the hold is quickly broken. Perry then hits a roll-up on Pac, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match and the winner of 6 points now in the Gold League in the Continental Classic Tournament is Jack Perry. So now with Jack Perry winning his 6 points, the entire Gold League in the Continental Classic Tournament all now have 6 points. So it's very interesting to see how it all comes together in the Continental Classic Gold League this year. A couple of things I want to talk about, man, before I get the hell up out of here. Number one, obviously we just got done with the holidays. We're in the holiday season. We just got done with Christmas, so I hope you guys were out there enjoying your holidays with your family and your loved ones. And hopefully you guys had a very Merry Christmas and a very happy holidays from my family to yours, first and foremost. Secondly, speaking of Dynamite, man, obviously they were live from the Hammerstein Ballroom. Or not live, this show was taped at the Hammerstein Ballroom. Was it a solid show? Yeah, I mean, it was a decent show. For what it's worth, there's a little bit of a story here between Swerve, Page, and MJF going into this matchup here at World's End for the AEW World title. With that being said, is it great to see MJF back? Absolutely. I mean, any name that comes back into the fold that's going to benefit AEW obviously is a huge plus to AEW's product, hands down. I know there's been a lot of speculation and rumors that we might see some returns possibly happening at World's End. I'm going to be honest, man. I think those returns need to happen. Obviously, things need to change for AEW. I've been saying this now from AEW for the past 2 years, that there needs to be a seismic change in the rift of AEW. There needs to be a reset button for AEW, and with bringing some of these names back, possibly a Jay White, maybe a Britt Baker, maybe Keith Lee is finally medically cleared. You bring these people back. Maybe we put Andrade into the fold, because now seemingly Andrade, now from what I understand, is a free agent, and he is allowed to compete wherever he may go. I heard he had a match, or has a match, in New Japan for Wrestle Kingdom, I believe. And he also joined the United Empire over in New Japan. So if that's the case, there could be setting up a match up here finally between Andrade and Kenny Omega. Obviously, it's not going to happen at World's End. But to see Andrade finally show up in AEW and he's actually able to compete inside of an AEW ring once again, it's going to get a lot of people talking. So hopefully we do get some returns back to AEW, maybe even a debut, who knows. But it's much needed, especially going in towards the end of the year. This is the last pay-per-view of the calendar year for AEW, so hopefully they can hit a grand slam with this pay-per-view going in towards the end of the year. But I'm expecting a lot. I'm expecting a lot coming out of World's End. I think the Fatal 4-Way match for the AEW World title was going to be absolutely awesome. And there's stars in that match from top to bottom, whether it's MJF, Swerve, Page, or if not, the AEW World Champion at the moment, Samoa Joe. We got Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander for the AEW Women's Championship. We have the Babes of Wrath taking on Athena and Mercedes Moné. We also have FTR, I believe, are defending the AEW Tag Team titles. I mean, we can also see the return, hopefully, of Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. Obviously, they have some unfinished business here with FTR after what happened at All Out when FTR attacked Beth Copeland. So obviously that story is far from finished. So maybe we'll see the likes of an Adam Copeland, maybe a Christian Cage, and some other returns or maybe debuts that follow at World's End. But it's much needed. It's definitely needed. I think this is the time where AEW desperately needs to hit the reset button going into 2026. There's already been, people talking on the fact that even Tony Khan had mentioned that he made mistakes in creative for AEW, that he might need to take a step back as far as being in the creative discussions for AEW. And honestly, I think that's probably the best bet for AEW moving forward, especially going into 2026. And like I said, it's going to be a very interesting couple years for AEW, especially with this whole Netflix thing looming over the possible purchase of Warner Brothers Discovery. There's going to be things that are probably going to change within AEW or the confines of AEW within the next couple years. So hopefully we can see a seismic change in AEW going into 2026 where we get more stories and more intrigue with AEW's product because it's desperately needed. And I think the fans have been patiently waiting for this. to happen for a very long time now. I mean, we're talking 2.5 years. So hopefully this is a huge reset button coming out of World's End, maybe a seismic shift in the direction of where AEW and the things of AEW are going into 2026. So hopefully we can see a seismic change going into the new year for AEW, and if not now, then when? And I think a lot of people are going to be asking that question coming out of World's End. There needs to be a change. There needs to be something that is going to hopefully bring a little bit more spotlight into AEW's product. I believe Okada and Takeshita are also finally squaring off at World's End, a match a lot of fans have been patiently waiting for as well, including myself. So hopefully they put on a banger match, and they should. It should be a great show, bro. It honestly should. I think the way the Continental Classic Tournament has finally played itself out, they put on incredible matches for the Continental Classic Tournament. I will go on a limb and say that the Continental Classic Tournament was a lot better than the Last Time Is Now tournament. For the winner of that will face John Cena in Cena's final match. I think the Continental Classic kind of surpasses what they were doing for the Last Time Is Now tournament. So I'm excited for the end of this tournament. I think all the competitors involved in that tournament were absolutely incredible, and they put on some great matches. Specifically, Kyle Fletcher really stood out for me, and I think he's going to have a great 2026 going into the new year. So hopefully AEW, man, for what it's worth, can fire on all cylinders. Obviously they still have some people out with injury. Will Ospreay, Jay White, Keith Lee, Britt Baker's not injured but out. Just to name a few. So hopefully they can get some names coming back into the fold of AEW. I mean, I think a lot of people would love to see the likes of Jay White, Keith Lee. People are still waiting to see what Andrade's doing. Andrade seemingly, like I said, is a free agent, and he's now able to compete in the confines of AEW. So we might see the likes of Andrade show up at World's End. Maybe they do run it back with a match between Kenny Omega and Andrade, because if you go back and remember when Andrade came back into the fold of AEW, the first person that he attacked was none other than Kenny Omega. And with the Bucks, from what I heard, are actually injured until the new year, who knows how long, maybe we do see a program here between the likes of Kenny Omega and the return of Andrade in AEW. So, like I said, man, this is something that AEW, if they do it correctly, can really hit a grand slam at World's End. And they bring back some talent, maybe some debuts. This could be really something going into 2026. Can be a reset and a seismic shift in the confines of AEW. And I think it's something that they desperately need going into the new year, because obviously a lot of fans, and myself included, have been really disappointed with AEW's product for the past 2 years. And I've been telling you guys, man, that I try to do what I can, my best, to take certain things from AEW Dynamite that I actually enjoy as a fan, because it's not like we're getting banger shows or monumental moments or great storylines week in and week out on their weekly episodic television. So you kind of have to take what you can get out of it and get some kind of enjoyment out of it, man, because if not, it's going to be absolutely miserable for you watching AEW's product. There needs to be a change. And obviously they have the talent. They have, what they could do is great storylines. We know the storylines are there. They just have to capitalize on creating those great stories to get the fans intrigued with these matches, especially us buying these pay-per-views. So hopefully 2026 will be a new year for AEW, and a year where we can capitalize on telling story and have more intrigue with AEW's product. And like I said, man, the way that, World's End is starting to slowly shape up, this could be something where maybe, just maybe, AEW might hit a grand slam at this year's World's End, and maybe we might see some returns, or who knows, maybe we'll actually possibly see a debut in AEW at World's End. So I'm definitely excited. Like I said, man, I hope you guys enjoyed your holidays. Obviously, we got New Year's coming up as well, but hopefully you guys were able to enjoy your holidays and, with your loved ones and, your friends and family and stuff like that. And like I said, from my family to yours, happy holidays, man. I hope you guys are out there, having a good time and staying safe and enjoying your guys' self, man. But like I said, man, Dynamite wasn't bad. I think the show obviously was live from the Hammerstein Ballroom, so the show, I think, was taped. Every time AEW goes to the Hammerstein Ballroom, it's always a good event. They pretty much sold the show out. So, I mean, like I said, man, obviously things hopefully are on the up and up for AEW, and things can progressively get better. It's going to take time. It's obviously not going to happen overnight. And like I said, we can all just, have our fingers crossed and hope and pray that 2026 is a better year for AEW than what it was for the past 2 years of AEW. So, With that being said, though, man, this is my review of AEW's Dynamite. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful, and remember, stay classic. Peace.